This is Jack again. Okay. Now just to place into perspective. I'm not saying that I am God here saying to you, people of the world, listen, this is now your only one chance, you better do it right now, or bullshit like that. I'm not in control of your lives, please. I'm not God of your life. I don't mold you. You mold yourself. All I do is I'm voicing that common sense in and of your world that you haven't heard in a long time. An awareness. Look, what are we doing here? We're just presenting common sense and awareness. That's it, really. The rest is up to you, basically. And the systems, of course, as you, assisting you. But all in all, by the second death, it is all up to each and every single one in existence. That's the one point that only you are responsible for. Okay, so, second death, just explain. Here on earth, okay, we'll have human beings walking through this process, okay, where they'll experience the second death here, okay, where they'll walk through the process and then they'll stand before that door, which no one else can open but you. You'll either do the following. You'll either go, look at yourself, go, no, I'm not going to give up myself. I like myself. I want to stay the same. Then you're going to turn around and go back. Go down the same road, as it is said. Or you're going to walk through the door into the unknown and birth yourself as life from the physical. Here. Okay. Here are those, unfortunately, that are going to do this process that I've just explained in the dimensions. Okay. Because they know they ain't going to make it here. Okay, that they already know. Okay? Then, when you cross over into the dimensions, same thing happens. You go through the exact same process that human beings here on earth are going to go through. Okay? Therefore, each one gets an equal opportunity to birth themselves as life in the second death. Okay? So what happens when you cross over at the moment is you're in a vacuum. What exists in that vacuum is your entire life. Okay? Where you're going to have to face each and every single point in your world, in your life, with absolute brutal honesty. Forgiveness, application. You go through processes to assist you in terms of, how to specifically apply in the dimensions, how the human physical body work, how do we specifically direct, how do we support, how far do we go to assist and support, because you can only do it so far. And then from that point and that line, the rest of the race is the beings. It's like carrying the being halfway. From there, the being is to run themselves. It's like showing a person how to run almost, If they haven't ever run in their life before, you show them how to run. Then from there you go, now go run by yourself. We can't run for you. It's impossible. No one can run a race for another being. It's not that it's a race, but you know what I'm saying. So, therefore, go to the dimensions, you're in a vacuum, you face your life, you face yourself basically. It's just the same what's going to happen here, no difference. And then, you basically, in that realization, application of yourself, you apply yourself here within human beings. And it's during that process, we're already supporting it in such a way that, in terms of the preconceived idea of self, that doesn't have to exist. Because it's the most dangerous thing to have an idea of yourself, to have a belief of yourself, to have a perception of yourself. And it's simple to know whether you have a belief, perception, or idea of yourself. Ask yourself the question, have I lived these words that I say are me? Simple. Who is me? What is that I? That is a question. How would you, not even define, how would you live that I? That is you, that me, that is you. Simple. Okay, so that's how the process is going to work. All human beings, whether you're on earth or in the dimensions, going through a process of facing self, taking responsibility for self's own creations, and then within that facing, taking responsibility in the standing up of self as who I am, as the living word, as all as one is equal. You step in, you live, you apply, and you direct your world as you. Simple. Both the same. There's no difference whatsoever. So, that's why I say, whether you do it right here or in the dimensions, it is exactly the same process. No difference. In the dimensions, the only difference maybe is, well, it's not really the dimension, I'm calling it the dimension, is that we're really completely here. Is that you see much more, that's all. Which is also possible here, bloody hell. You're able to have quantum time right here. I mean, we do, of course. As I'm speaking in the totality of the situation. Standing here as all as one is equal, I'm speaking. So who's really speaking? It's you speaking to you. It's beautiful, it's magnificent. Okay, so, this is Jack. Thank you very much.